Asgard's not a place, it's a people.
Thanos, there's a whole lot less now. But let's do the math and let's try to figure out how many Asgardians we got left. Now to figure this out, I'm going to be trying to take some of the visual cues from the movie Thor Ragnarok and couple that with the information we know from both the Avengers Infinity War movie and recent comments by the Russos when asked if the Asgardians were cut in half not only during the attack on their ship, but afterwards when the snap occurred. And that was recently confirmed by the Russos in this clip.
Did half of them just die again? Were they scared?
Nope. Half of them died again.
That's harsh.
So with that said, we have to figure out, first of all, how many Asgardians got on the ship initially that escaped Asgard. We then got to take that number, count it in half, because we know that half of the individuals escaped with Valkyrie at the onset of Infinity War. And then once we have that number, we have to cut in half. So we're down to a quarter of the individuals who initially escaped Asgard with Thor and Loki. So to estimate that number of initial individuals to get on the ship, we have to consider this shot right here. And that gives us a basic idea of the size of the ship. Now taking that shot and knowing that Tom Hiddleston is a very manly 6'2", we can determine that, hey, that is our spot for 6'2" right there. Now, I took that and using an old Pathfinder trick, estimated that the entire length of the space vessel they have is 514.5 feet. Now, our next visual clue is twofold. It's an exterior and an interior shot. The exterior shot is key right there, the Grandmaster's little pleasure vessel. And then you can see the inside, the hull of the ship, where it's not that wide. It's if you go and start counting people across the front here, you maybe have 25 to 30 people across. And I've counted across a couple times, but for the sake of the argument, I'm going to say 30 across. Another look from the ship from the exterior also shows us that it doesn't look like you can have two levels on this ship. Possibly on the left side of the screen, there are two levels. But if you go look at the interior of the hull where they're doing the coronation, it looks like it has a high roof in there as well. So it's unlikely that this is a two-story or a multi-level ship. Now we also have a couple more visual clues we got to look at to determine the width. You can see here it's about 10 to 11 people across on the bridge out to the gate for the Bifrost. 9 to 10, possibly 11, 12. You can see here the ship, the pleasure ship of the Grandmaster, is about, it's probably about 3 times the width of the bridge. So keep that number in mind as you look at this scene where you can see the Grandmaster ship on top of the escape vessel, and you're looking at it's probably just over 3 of those Grandmaster ships wide. And you can also see on the right side how it's kind of a hangar bay where there is no cover. It's an exterior part of the building or the structure. So with that, we could say that it's possibly 2 ships wide when you look at it on that interior structure of the hull. And with that is consistent with what we see here in the throne room. Another important factor in considering crowd density is the crowd is going to be densest at the front, at the event, at the point of action. And the point of action is Thor right here taking his throne. So the crowd is going to be denser towards that location. So taking that in consideration, if you look back, like over your shoulder, Thor, yeah, right back there, it's not probably as dense towards the back as far as the population density and the crowd density near the back of the ship. So As you can see here, kind of looking at this, there's enough room for people to move around slightly. They could spread the crowd for Thor. So I had to take that and look at a website that helps with crowd density. And in case you haven't figured out at this point, I am not a crowd density scientist. But coming to this website, you can see here where I'm highlighting with the cursor, it has the density of the crowd based off visuals. So based off the visuals that are in the throne room scene, I'd say we're probably between one of these two crowd densities, either 4 people per square meter or 4.5. 5 looks too crowded, especially near the back. When you go back and look at that throne room scene, there's it definitely, it's not as crowded in the back. There's enough room for people to part ways easily for Thor as he walks through to his throne. So I'm going to go with one of these two and call it the happy middle. We'll go with 4.5. Alright guys, and I did some homework here using Soldier Field in Chicago and the area around it as an example. And I found that this area right here to here and just to about this bus stop and over, that gives us our ship area, if you will. It's actually a little bit higher right here, okay? And we said 4.5 is my agreed upon, hey, here's your density. So using this crowd tool, that's the approximate shape of the ship length, and especially when you consider the hull and what can actually be used as interior space. And you can see here the number of hombres you can have in there. And well, I had to do this in Spanish because if you convert it to English, the tool doesn't work anymore. So you're looking at 6,836 people, Asguardians, that possibly made it on to. Now for the very painful math in all this, 6,863, I think it was. 36. Clear. 6,836 times 0.5 equals 3,418 times 0.5 again, 1,709. So 1,709 that survived the snap out of the Asgardians. And I think about all the death they've experienced, man. The 2 snaps, essentially. First, the Thanos' attack on the refugee ship, the actual snap, so they're down to a quarter, and then before that, Hela decimated not only the military, I mean, which she actually just ran through, literally, but on the bridge. I mean, there were a ton of Asgardians that lost their lives there. So Asgard's been through a bunch, and I'm hoping that this small number, this less than 1,800 people that are left, will follow the siege storyline, like they said at the end of Ragnarok, where Thor tells them to go to Earth. And I hope they do go set up in Oklahoma, and I hope we do get eventually a Dark Avengers / Siege storylines, guys. So what do you guys think? Is that a 1,709 number? Is that about accurate? What do you think? Love to hear it. Leave your comments below. Make sure you're subscribed. And guys, I appreciate it. Everyone that's subscribed. My channel's been growing. I appreciate it. I'm really thankful for everyone who clicks that subscribe button. And that's all I got, guys. Real Comic Stacks out.